Hello everybody, Coach Larry here, not from the pool tonight. The pool was not available, so we're right here in my humble abode, ready to go on another Sunday night, one-to-one. Thanks for joining us. And before we get started, by the way, the title of tonight's presentation is Shallow People. That's right, shallow people. So we're going to be talking about a lot of shallow people. Actually, we're not going to be talking about shallow people. We're actually going to be talking about shallow swimmers. And in particular, people who swim in a shallow manner, which is exactly what we want to do when it comes to the great and elusive stroke of breaststroke. So, shallow people, you know, we don't want to be shallow people in life, but we do want to be shallow people when we're swimming breaststroke. That's the key. We don't want to be surfacey people in life, but we do want to be surfacey when we're swimming breaststroke. So we're going to go over some of the common errors, some of the common culprits of not being able to swim in a surfacey manner, in a shallow manner, and then we're going to talk about fixing that. So if you struggle with breaststroke, this is a great presentation for you. If you don't struggle with breaststroke, this is a good one for you too, because you'll realize some of the things that are making you go fast. So now before we get started, before we dive into how to be a shallow person or how to be a shallow swimmer, swimming close to the surface, I want to give you a brief update. We had a really good day today on our one-to-one sessions. We had Neely come out, we had Lucas, we had Cameron, we had a couple of sisters come out. It was like a whole family affair. So it was really cool today. And one of the swimmers who came out to do a one-to-one session today, his name is Lucas, and he actually is one of the 25 swimmers who have taken up the challenge, Santa's challenge. Now, just a reminder, Santa contacted me a couple of weeks ago, asked me if I would offer a $25 discount to anybody who took a one-to-one session during the month of December. And of course, I said yes, and he said, but there's one condition. Everybody who takes that discount has to take that $25 and go do something good with it. Do a good deed with it. So, we've had 25 swimmers so far who have taken up the challenge. So there are 25 swimmers in the greater Charlotte area who are out there right now doing a good deed somewhere, somehow, with some creative way with their $25. And in fact, Lucas, who's one of the guys who came out today, he sent me an email, okay? This is his email, and he shared with me how he reached out with his $25, and I just want to read it to you real quick. All right, so he said, "Dear Coach Larry, I just wanted to explain to you what I did with the $25 saved from the one-to-one session. I have always he said, I have always loved waking up on Christmas morning with a present to open. So I decided to make another child feel the same way. I used the $25 to buy gifts for 2 little boys through my church's Angel Tree project. I picked a child who was 2 years old and who wished for building blocks. So he got building blocks for one of the kids. And then he said, I also picked a boy who was 3 years old who had wished for a Power Ranger action figure." Yeah, building blocks, Power Rangers, awesome. So, Lucas, way to go. So he got these gifts. He gave a picture here of the building blocks, and here's the Power Ranger. He included a picture in his email. Awesome. This is exciting because this is what Christmas is all about. Okay, we're reaching out and making a difference. So, if you are out there and you have that $25, go for it. Do something great with it. Even if you haven't taken a one-to-one session and saved the $25 this month, I challenge you, go out and do something great. For $25, you can make such an impact. Think about it. Think about what you can do. In fact, I had a really good friend who I used to work with this guy. His name is Travis. And he and I were servers together. Travis was sharp. He is sharp as a tack. Okay, really neat guy. He posted something on Instagram recently. He was waiting on somebody at his restaurant. And they were kind of joking around at the end of the meal about this person was going to go and get Dairy Queen for dessert. He's like, oh man, I love Dairy Queen. I would love a Dairy Queen. Well, this customer that he was waiting on, they left the restaurant, came back with a blizzard, some kind of awesome cherry frosty blizzard kind of thing for Travis. And he posted it on Instagram. He's like, this is what it's all about. This is so cool. Just a small little outreach to somebody, and he made his day, and he spread it on Instagram. And that kind of thing just spreads, and it's really cool, especially this time of year. So I just want to challenge all of you. Go out and make something great happen for somebody. Go up to a police officer and give them a little gift and say, thank you for protecting our community. How about the greeter at Walmart? Or how about the checkout person at the grocery store, the person stocking shelves? You know, sometimes the people who don't normally get thanked very often, give them something great. Give them a $5 gift card. Do something and say, hey, I appreciate you. It's really cool. Okay, so that's it for the update, for Santa's update. Now let's talk about shallow people, and in particular, people who swim shallow, and in particular, people who swim breaststroke in a shallow manner. Now, if you know anything about breaststroke, you'll know that this is a really squirrely stroke. Breaststroke is one of the most elusive strokes. It's like trying to pin jello on the wall, you know, with a thumbtack. It just keeps moving. It always seems to be somehow eluding our grasp. But there are some things about breaststroke, some common foundational themes that if you put them into your stroke, they will help you advance in the stroke, okay? So what we want to do is let's talk about the 4 common errors that lead to low breaststroke. Because again, we want to swim breaststroke close to the surface. We want to be surfacey. We want to be surfacey when it comes to breaststroke. Not in life, but yes, in breaststroke. We want to swim close to the surface. What are the 4 common errors that tend to make us sink in breaststroke? Well, one easy way to remember it is think about the 4-H club. The 4 H's. The 4 H's are hands, head, hips, and heels. The 4 H's. Hands, head, hips, and heels. Those are the 4 areas that tend to get us in trouble and tend to make us swim very low breaststroke. And remember, in breaststroke, low is slow. Okay? We don't want to be low. We want to be nicely up at the surface. We want to be engaging. We want to be engaging in the stroke. We don't want to be sinking. We don't want to sludge through the muck and the mire down deep in the water. Breaststroke is an attack stroke. It is an aggressive stroke. So we want to stay up close to the surface. So first of all, the hands get us in trouble. And more specifically, actually, the entire hand, forearm, elbows, the arms really can get us in trouble. Here's why. Number one, we tend to go really low with the hands or with the arms in breaststroke. Often the elbows will drop. And what happens when the elbows drop down in here, what happens is the core disengages and we sink. Okay? We don't want to drop. We want to stay engaged. We want to keep that pull nice and close to the surface. Okay? So often we go too low. Sometimes we go too slow, like the hands are just moving too slowly back out into the front part of the stroke. Well, what happens when the hands are moving too slowly is your whole body starts to sink, and we don't want to sink. We want to stay up at the surface. Another reason to do with the arms is that we take a pull that's way too big. Okay? If you have this gigantic pull, it takes forever to get those arms back out into the front part of the stroke. Guess what's happening? You're sinking. Okay? The longer it takes for your arms to get back out into the front part of your stroke, to the glide, the more you're going to sink, the more you're going to swim low. And remember, when it comes to breaststroke, low is slow. Another thing that people do with their arms is they shoot down. Okay, they're up for the breath, and instead of shooting out, they shoot down. Well, what happens when you shoot your hands down? Your body goes with it, and you go low. And when you go low, you go slow. So again, the hands or the arms are really getting us in trouble. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Second thing is the head. Remember, we heard from Coach Bob last week, our head coach. And the head can get us in a lot of trouble and make us go too low in the breaststroke. Why? Because too many of us do this. Boom, we dunk the head. Somehow we think dunking the head down toward the bottom is going to make us faster. No, it's not going to make you faster. It's actually going to make you slower and sabotage your breaststroke. You don't want to, think about it. Where do you want momentum to go? You want it to go toward your destination. So why do you want to send momentum with your head down toward the bottom of the pool? Nope, don't want to do it. So the head is another culprit. So we got the hands or the arms, that's one culprit. The head is another culprit. Culprit of what? Sending us too deep in breaststroke. Again, we want to be surfacey. We want to be shallow. We want to swim close to the surface when it comes to breaststroke. The third area where we get in trouble is the hips. Okay, this is probably number one. Okay, when the hips sink, you're in trouble, brother and sister. Okay, when the hips go low, you're going to be swimming at an angle instead of a nice horizontal angle. You're going to be swimming like this. Okay, and when the hips go down and they're dragging low, you're just going to have too much resistance. So if the hips drop low, you're going to go slow. So we got to keep the hips up. So we're going to talk about that as well. So we got the hands, we got the head, we got the hips, and then we've got the heels. The heels, that's our fourth and final culprit of why we swim breaststroke really low. What in the world do the heels have to do with low breaststroke? Well, here's the deal. If your heels, okay, your heels need to come up to your butt to get ready for the kick. Well, if they come up too slowly, guess what happens? You start sinking, okay? If that kick is delayed, you're going to sink low. And again, you don't want to go low because you will go slow. So we got to get those heels up quick. So the four main culprits of low, slow breaststroke are the four H's: hands, head, hips, and heels. Okay, so let's talk first of all about what can you do about the hands or the arms. Okay, one of the main things that I want you to think about is I want you to think about your arms staying in the top 1 foot of water. Think about your arms staying very close to the surface. We don't want to dig down. There's no good reason to dig down into the water. It just makes you go slowly. So when you start your stroke, when you open the elevator, right, this is the beginning of your stroke, pinkies up, pressing out to the side. Keep those pinkies like maybe an inch or so just below the surface, okay? Keep it nice and close to the surface. Then as you round the corner, okay, as you round the corners, remember breaststroke is a circular stroke, okay? We want to round the corners like you're scraping the edge of an ice cream bowl, right? Round the corners. We want to keep the elbows really close to the surface, okay? We don't want to do this. We don't want to drop the elbows because then the core disengages and boom, we sink. So we want to keep the hands close to the surface, elbows close to the surface, and then sweep the hands and the elbows together and shoot straight out, okay? We do not want to shoot down. We do not want to drop the elbows down low. We want to keep everything nice and close to the surface. Keep it light, okay? So keep the hands, keep the elbows, keep the hands sweeping together and shooting forward, all very surface oriented, okay? Especially those elbows. Elbows are big. You do this, you're done, okay? So keep the elbows very close to the surface. Pretend there's a barrier, okay? And you don't want to go below the barrier or that level, that layer of water. Stay in that top foot of water if you can, okay? Think about that. All right, so, and we want to also make sure that we don't shoot. Remember, we want to shoot out, okay? To shoot back into the I position, we want to shoot out toward our destination. We don't want to shoot down. No reason to shoot down because down is not the direction we want to go. We want to go forward. So, shoot out in front of you. Also, another thing is make sure that you're not pulling way back here, okay? We don't want to pull in real close to the ribs. Your elbows should not be right in against your ribs. If they are, your pull is too big. Keep a barrier. Think about keeping a barrier between your elbows and your ribs, okay? Keep some space there, okay? So keep some space in between here, okay? So you don't get all caught. Why? What's wrong with this? Well, it just takes too long. If you go here, you get stuck. Okay? It just takes too long to get back out into the I position. And again, if it takes too long, what's happening? You're sinking. So again, we want to get out there. We want to get out there really fast. Okay? We don't want to get stuck. One other thing, really quick, before we go to the head. Okay? One other thing with the hands that you can do. We want to make sure that we do not do any photo ops. Okay? Sometimes people come up for their breath and they stop right here, almost like they're ready for a photo op. Right? And it's like, who are you posing for? Go! Move your hands. Get your arms back out there. We don't want to come up and pause right here for the breath. Because guess what happens when you pause? Woo, down you go. Down you sink. And if you sink, you go slow. And if you go slow, people are going to catch up to you in your IM. And there's no worse feeling than people catching you during the breaststroke, during the IM. I should know, because that's what happens to me. So I have to keep myself close to the surface as much as I can in my own breaststroke. All right, so number one, that's what we're going to do with our hands. We're going to keep everything nice and close to the surface. We're going to keep a nice barrier here so we don't get stuck underneath with the elbows up against the ribs. And we're going to get right back out and shoot out in front of us. Number two, the head position. This is an easy one, but one that a lot of us make a mistake on. Remember last week. If you didn't see last week's, make sure you watch last week's Facebook Live, because it's all about the steering wheel and how the head is the steering wheel of the body. We want our head. Once you take your breath in breaststroke, please don't make the mistake of dunking your head down. For some reason, many of us like to dunk the head. No dunking of the head. We want to drive the head forward, okay, like a ram. Okay, pretend you've got the curly horns on top of your head, and you're going to drive the head forward nice and shallow, not dunk it down. Okay, so once you're done with the breath, shoot out and kick your body into the line and make sure your head is going shallow and forward. Press the top of your head forward into your line rather than dunking it, because nothing good happens from dunking your head. Okay? Okay. Number three is the hips. Okay, how do we keep our hips close to the surface? One of the best ways that I've found to keep your hips close to the surface, in addition to what we've already talked about, is to come up really high for your breath. Okay, because when you come up high for your breath, you are driving your hips forward in the direction that you want to go. Okay, now we don't want to go straight up. We want to go high and forward. Okay, so we don't want to just pop straight up for the breath, but we do want to come up nice and high and forward. When you go forward, your hips drive forward, and they stay much closer to the surface than if you just leave your hips really low. If you're just kind of kind of a water bug on top of the water, and you're not coming up and really driving your hips. We want to drive the hips forward, and then when you dive into the front part of your stroke, you pop the hips up. So that's going to keep your hips much closer to the surface. Come up nice and high for your breath. Think about driving your hips forward, and then drive your body into the line. That'll help keep your hips much closer to the surface, along with the other things that we said. So we've got the hands nice and close to the surface. We got the head driving forward instead of dunking down, nice and close to the surface. We got hips. We're going to come up nice and high for the breath, so our hips drive forward, nice and close to the surface. And then finally, the last thing is the heels. Okay, again, what we want to do, here's a really good saying to say to yourself while you're doing breaststroke. Kick before you sink. Okay, kick before you sink. Too many of us come up for the breath, nice and high, and then the heels come up to your butt really slowly. Okay? We don't want slow heels to the butt. We want them fast, right up there, so that you are ready to kick your body forward into the front part of your stroke. What we don't want to do, we don't want to come up and then drop the body down and then kick after our body is back in the water. Okay? We want to come up nice and high for your breath, and then quick heels to the butt so you can kick your body. You want to kick your body into your line, okay, into the line, instead of dropping the body and then kicking. So if you are up for your breath and think, kick before you sink, kick before you sink. So you're up here and you think, I'm going to kick before my body sinks. That way you will kick yourself forward rather than sinking down, going super deep, and then having to kick after that. Okay? All right, so let me see here. I just want to see if anybody has any questions here. That was a nice comment about Lucas. That's awesome. Okay, so appreciate all you guys watching tonight. Just want to see if anybody had any questions, and we will finish up here in just a minute. So the key tonight is the 4 H's. Focus on the 4 H's in order to keep yourself as a shallow breaststroker, as a breaststroker who swims close to the surface. That's where fast breaststroke is swum. Okay? Ask anybody. I see some people on here who I know who are really fast breaststrokers. Check with your coach. Check with friends of yours who are really good breaststrokers, and you will find that they swim, for the most part, very close to the surface. And again, there's no across-the-board formula for breaststroke. Again, it's a pretty squirrely stroke. But fast breaststroke is swum close to the surface. So the 4 H's are the hands, the head, the hips, and the heels. Keep the hands and the arms nice and close to the surface, okay? Nice and close to the surface. We're going to keep the head close to the surface. Avoid dunking it down, just drive it forward. We're going to get those hips close to the surface by driving high for the breath, okay? And then we're going to get the heels. We're going to keep those heels really nice. We're going to keep that the heels nice and close and the heels nice and fast as they come up quickly to kick you into the front part of your stroke before you sink. Because again, we don't want to swim breaststroke low in the water. Remember, low is slow. We do not want to be slow when it comes to breaststroke. Breaststroke is already inefficient enough. It's the slowest of the 4 strokes, but it's a great stroke. In fact, I believe that breaststroke is the key to a great IM. Okay? So if you're a breaststroker, a natural breaststroker, good for you. Keep working on your breaststroke and make it even more of a weapon. For those of you who are not good breaststrokers, don't lose hope. Okay? You can incorporate these principles to make yourself into a better breaststroke. Don't throw in the towel, as they say. Work on these principles, the 4 H's: hands, head, hips, and heels. And if you missed any part of this, go back and watch the beginning part of it because it'll go over how you can keep all of this close to the surface. Okay? Again, in life, we don't want to be shallow people. We don't want to be surfacey people. But in swimming, we do. We want to swim close to the surface. We want to swim nice and shallow. We want to swim in that upper layer of water so that we can go fast, because that is fun swimming. Fast swimming is fun swimming. And speaking of that, time for me to go and time for you to go do some swimming if you're not heading to the pool right now, which might be a little late to go to the pool. But find a pool near you soon and you can go there and work on your breaststroke. By the way, all of you swimmers out there, ask your coach. Ask your coach for feedback. Coaches want to be asked. Make sure you ask them. You don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder if you're doing your strokes right. Get with your coach. Get with someone who can get you on the video, on the iPhone, and show you what your breaststroke is looking like. And don't give up. Keep working at it each and every day. All right? Okay. Hope you guys have a great week. If you have any more questions about iSwim 1-to-1, you can go to iswim121.com. That's our website. You can find out all about the 1-to-1 sessions. You can find out about Santa's challenge and all sorts of ways where you can swim faster and have more fun at this great sport. All right? Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.